So, Jester is a horror comedy with a little bit of action about a sort of demon hunter called Dexter Jacobs, who struggles to fight his way through this world of sort of demons and angels while also being a sort of rock guitarist at the same time.
My name is Phoebe Measures and I was responsible for the special effects makeup, the prosthetics and a lot of the props you see here in Jester.
So basically, I'm Jack Power and I play Mr. Clips, who is the fortunate evil villain of the piece.
I think a lot of the inspiration for him came from that very childhood fear, you know, what's under the bed with lots of teeth, what's gonna bite at you when your leg sticks out the duvet. Which is a totally rational thing. You know, if your leg comes out the duvet, that's it. Say goodbye to your leg.
And I absolutely loved the concept of it, and I was so happy to get the role, because it was something that I've not really played this kind of role before, and I've always wanted to play a proper villain character. And I feel like this it gave me what I wanted to do.
The fight scenes are amazing. The fight scenes are one of my favourite parts about the film, because I get to choreograph all these separate fight scenes. And there's one particular fight scene in a corridor that I think you're all gonna like quite a bit, because that's it's just something quite special about that one.
So it turns out I actually have a lot of fight scenes, which is again something I haven't done, which I was really hyped about. Because Chris, who plays the main character, he's actually already trained in stage combat, where I wasn't, so I was like, right, so I'm gonna get my ass kicked here. But no, it was fine about it. He showed me some of the basic stuff. I did a bit of research into fighting on screen and stuff like that, and then we got to set to do practices and stuff, and we just improvised.
And then you, with one hand, flip him over, and you can make that as slow and menacing as you like, or as a quick flip.
We had Skype calls and stuff as well to discuss how we were going to choreograph it as well, so we weren't just going in blind. But obviously when you get to set, it's always a little bit different, so you've got to work around it. Bit of a hit and miss, trying to get all the angles right, make sure that hits look like they were landing and stuff, without him actually punching me. Plot twist, all the punches are genuine. No, not really. But not only did I always want to play villain, but I always want to do fight scenes and stuff. It's doing all around stunts and stuff. And honestly, it was so much fun. And you can't tell when you're actually doing it what it's going to look like, but then we got to have a little brief behind the scenes look at what it was like on camera, and just based on what I've seen, I'm so excited for the final thing. I think it's going to look ace.
Right, very nice guys, very nice. We're going to watch the playback on that one, and that might be it.
The band is there was a lot of chemistry between each band member straight away, which was helpful because of the banter between each member. I just had a load of fun with them, just laughing at everything while we were between takes. We just started laughing at stupid little things.
So what is this? Give me a sexy look.
Miss Sun was a fantastic character actually, because I usually get a lot of very expressive characters. I have a very expressive face, so I tend to get very bubbly, very sort of girl next door type characters. And then Miss Sun was a complete departure from that, which was fantastic. That's part of what drew me to her in the first place, was just this offer to be something so cold and aloof and toned down.
Normal people don't just wake up in the morning with the natural ability to do brain surgery.
Oh, filming with Chris was incredible. We had instant chemistry. Before we actually went straight into the filming, we had one rehearsal, and that was in the dressing room as I was putting on Miss Sun's nails. And then we went straight into takes. But that's what was beautiful with him, was we had that instant connection that meant even if we hadn't practiced the lines with each other, we just knew that the other person would be there for us. And we could just go straight into it, and it worked. It always worked. Every time we were rushing a take or anything like that, it just instantly worked with us.
Oh, the effects are incredible. Max and Helen are wizards when it comes to just general practical effects and making monsters. Like their house is just filled with like monsters and like makeup and like different sort of SFX stuff.
I think very much for Dexter's masks, the designs were influenced by a lot of anime. Very much that kind of sharp, angled, distinctive look. Also a lot of the clockwork droids from Doctor Who, A Girl in the Fireplace. That was a big influence on the reds and the blues. I wanted to keep them very lightweight with a very smooth, almost bone-like finish. So, primary school arts and crafts coming in right here.
The makeup they did for Jack Power was amazing. It was amazing seeing him like turn blue every weekend and like covered in teeth, and the Miss Sun monsters is amazing.
I mean, so much thought was put into special effects and props with lots and lots of consideration for the editor whilst filming in terms of, making their life as easy as possible. I think it's really important to have this empathy for editors whilst you're filming.
Hi, my name's Floyd and I'm the editor of Jester. The director and I spoke at length weeks before the shoot about what would be practical effects and what would be visual effects and what could be possible on set and what had to be done in post-production. And so we were able to plan out what we were going to do about that weeks in advance. So it gave me a lot of time to prepare and plan how I was going to pull these things off.
We had amazing makeup people. We had Phoebe Measures, who was absolutely brilliant with prosthetics, and we also had Ella Johnson, who helped with makeup and stuff like that to help pull off like this creepy image of this monster that Max, of course, wanted.
A lot of the props were actually made with just stuff I have lying around. The magic of prop making, it doesn't have to be expensive, it just has to look pretty, I guess.
And like just the prosthetics alone, like Phoebe had me in all this like latex and all this glue, and so I don't know what half the stuff she was putting on my face was, but she's like making me sign all these things about allergies and stuff. I'm like, is this going to kill me? I hope not. But she's slapping all this stuff on my face. I think it took about 3.5 hours, like the initial like face mask and everything. But it was like proper like grafted to my face, so the jaw was attached. So like when I move my mouth, it like proper moves, so we could get some like really like creepy shots of the teeth and everything.
Oh, the prosthetics were incredible. I mean, those teeth that were designed for Mr. Clips by the makeup artist, bloody hell. They were incredible, as well as the creature puppet designs that were created by the director's sister. Really freaking talented.
I've always wanted to do something with big teeth, so when the opportunity for this came up, I kind of just leapt at it. Yeah, I think a lot about his teeth were influenced by the original Xenomorphs, that idea of a second jaw, and piranhas. Those kind of creeped me out as a kid, so just that unhinging with rows and rows of teeth. I think, particularly in something like this, if you can spook yourself or design something that unsettles you, then that'll just make it more effective for the audience. The teeth themselves, you might not believe it, but they're made of milk bottles.
Because you don't see yourself while you're having it done until like, you just walk past the mirror and you're like, if the audience are as shocked as I am, then it's got to work.
I just have to mention, or give a special mention to Jack. All of my makeup models were fantastic. They put up with me and Ella and everything else that was going on in some really intense periods. But Jack, oh my gosh, with sitting in a chair for hours on end, with all sorts of chemicals getting put in his face, and me getting very stressed. And you know what? He always made me laugh. We were always giggling or chatting about something.
Paint me like one of your French girls.
It was insufferably annoying that I had to just go, stop talking or stop making me laugh. If it wasn't for the technical mishaps, sometimes we were a bit late just because we were getting on. But don't tell Max that.
Finding the costume was really hard. Actually, like finding something that worked for like a deity, but still a deity that's in the world. and getting like something Miss Sunny. So you wanted like yellows, but you didn't want like gaudy neon. But finding it was fantastic. The moment I saw it, I was like, that's exactly the right thing. Something a bit sort of classical with a modern flair to it. I thought that was perfect for someone who's a bit out of time, even though she is in that present moment, so yeah.
Seriously.
The claws are my favourite part. I love the claws. I just remember like walking around on set and like scraping things, and I had like crew looking at me like, what are you doing?
And there was three different costume changes in total. There was one that's like a human form, which was just like a basic black suit with like dark shades around my face and everything. And then there was the initial one, which is like a general like jawline. And then there was like a final form, which is the tooth suit, as we call it, and it's basically like all one. It's like one big mouth. It's like I've become like a mouth, and I didn't know how that was going to turn out until I turned up to wear it on the day, and I thought, oh, wow, this looks brilliant.
The special effects from Sun, I love that halo. Lots of jokes about my last name. That halo. I definitely should invest in getting my own one, you know, just someone to carry it around behind me at all times. I think that's my favourite shot with it, is when we literally have it being moved by someone else walking behind me. Yeah, don't invest in a halo without a halo carrier.
You can buy our latest album from the booth outside.
I got to play the character of Paul. Now, Paul is Dexter's housemate. Later on in the film, of course, my character gets eaten. In the script it just says all that's left of Paul is his thumbs up.
The severed hand, that was fun.
I got a message from Max just saying, Phoebe's going to get in contact with you about the arm. I went, oh, okay, yeah, sure. I was just going to say whatever goes, I'm fine with. And she messages me, it's like, hi, you know, she says hello, who she is, and you know, I say hello back, and pretty much it's kind of, I think we had the best part of a half an hour chat about how I want my arm to be cut off and what it should look like.
I had to kidnap my best friend from college, who was thankfully of similar dimensions to the actor. And I think I kidnapped him 3 days consecutively or something like that. And the poor guy had to sit on our kitchen table with his hand in a thumbs up while we just slathered it in plaster of Paris. That was a lot of fun. The mould making was a interesting process. I don't think either of us really knew what to expect, but it came out okay. And one night when I was going to fill it with the latex that would make the shape of it, we were having some renovations done on the house and the mould had shattered. The top part over the back of the hand just completely shattered. And I was devastated. I had to make so many calls around the team going, help, we have a problem. Not to worry, we rebuilt it very patiently with clay and some plaster filler that we had, and it worked out. The hand was made in latex, it was stuffed with, again, household stuff. We filled it with cotton wool and some rice that we just taped in a freezer bag, give it some weight, airbrushed it, and minus a little bit of fake blood,
More on the palm.
there was the hand.
The palm is a bit swollen.
We only had one take, that was the best bit. We did one take of just dropping it. Just lands with such a satisfying thud.
Cut. Very
That
nice.
sounded great.
It's very hard not to giggle at it.
Editing Jester was a challenge for me, mainly because I'd never done so many visual effects in one film before. So one of my favourite visual effects in the film is in scene 9, whereby Dexter and Mr. Clips are fighting in the basement. As Dexter gets up after trying to retrieve the wrench, he goes to escape through the fire escape door, and Mr. Clips passes another shadow over the door, and replaces it with a brick wall. The way that was done was by three things. It was a combination of Photoshop and green screen. I used the steel frame of the door and replaced the door with a PNG of a brick wall and used a shadow as a clever transition. Chris jumped in front of the green screen and performed the action. I then took that and made a alpha matte, and again made sure that the color grade was surrounding so that it didn't look out of place, and obviously matted on top so that when he jumps in front of the door it looks seamless and it looks like he's actually there. And you know, little details like the shadows being there on the wall when he's touching the door needed to be thought about as well. So those little intricate details that needed to be there for the effect to pull off.
So I was in charge of assisting with the production, making sure we were keeping to schedule, and most of the time we were, but I remember there was this one moment where we had hired this bar in Kingston and it was coming up to wrap time in the venue, but we still had quite a lot of shots to shoot, so we thought, shoot, what are we going to do? And then Max decided to merge the shots into one long shot. I say that was one of my favourite moments on set because it could have, well, considering the pressure we were under, it could have gone so wrong, but the universe was really working with us for some reason, and it just felt right. I found when working on set, you get this kind of instinct of what's going right and wrong. So when this long shot came about, it just felt really right, almost perfect.
I think my favourite, well, not my favourite, but the most impressive was probably the green room thing. Like, we had like a full 12-hour shoot, and we were very behind towards the end. But somehow we managed to get shot this incredibly complicated scene in probably less than an hour. All the complicated actions and technical stuff to do with the fighting and the effects. Like, we managed to set up a green screen in like a couple minutes and get that shot in 2 minutes. I think everyone at that point, because we were all so tired, everyone was sort of just in the zone and didn't and no one was sort of thinking, everyone was just doing things. It was a good experience. It was a really good experience, and I felt quite impressed with everyone by the end of that. It was quite a as soon as it was done, it was like, oh my god, it's done.
So working on Jester would be my first time as AD, and honestly it was a lot of fun. It was a bit intensive when it got closer to the time, with things like getting the extras sorted, getting drum kits built out of cardboard on set and things like that.
Your drum kit skin with a hole in it, perfect. We're doing this on this side.
Yeah. But as AD, the main focus for me was getting the extras on board, getting them all the information they needed.
So, of the extras we have here so far, which of you guys have signed on to be victims?
Yeah!
Sort of keeping the pace of things when needed, and working on the clapperboard, which was quite a lot of fun.
Scene 8, double time, take 2.
Big part of it was the, what's the word for it, rallying the crowd during the gigs and things like that, getting them motivated, and getting them, because we're on, 8 in the morning until 4 p.m, if not later, doing these kind of shoots, and keeping that energy going, that kind of stuff, arranging props for the day, all that kind of thing, really. It was a lot of fun in Jester.
Just uninvested.
Everybody gather up. Everybody return back.
Oh, the blood.
So, and one more thing.
I remember Jack Powell was a lot of fun, where at one point, I can't remember if it was him or me who went up and they went, be more oblong, and that it's a powerful shape and that they should be more oblong. That just the sort of humour on set and being ready to, even though we're on an intensive shoot, having that bit of levity every so often, working with Max and he memeing on the stage, working with that back and forth. Yeah, just the humour on the set.
So I think we're on a winner here. Yeah, we're on a winner here. Trig, play it cool, play it cool.
For that scene, starters, I have to look about the same height as everyone else, which is kind of hard when you're... I'm about 6'3". Most other people do come up to hit about here on me, so I'm a little screwed when it comes to that. So I had to like bend my knees and sort of sit down for most of the shots I'm in.
Towards the end of the film, I make a cameo. We shot in a bar in Marylebone, around the corner from Madame Tussauds, which is where we shot the green room scenes. And I play one of Mooney's gay friends who winks at Dexter from at the bar. So that was my little cameo in the film. Me doing a little Stan Lee kind of... That didn't make it into the cut down version, but it did make it into the extended version.
So you need to think about lighting how it is, because it might be quite nice.
Normally wearing way less clothing than
then, you know, when it's sitting at the desk,
It's a cold there.
mask and the lighting.
I can attribute to that.
It's only the main character of the pilot.
On me now.
Shoot on the 26th of January, 2019.
Give me the tape!
Everyone was dedicated, they were enthusiastic. No one had a bad word to say about anything. And I think that's remarkable given that there were some shoots where we were going way into the night, it was late and we were cold, and everyone was just fantastic. We all got along. And as someone who was one of the younger members in the team, that was really amazing for me to feel accepted and to work as an equal among people who have been in amazing films, and I just loved it.
Because I'm one of the youngest on the project, seeing all these like people who are a few years older than me, you know, properly working as hard as they can, it's quite, you know, inspiring really.
We had some like long shoots, you know, in cold basements and various like weird camera shots that we wanted to get, and at some point we were like, is this gonna work? I don't think this is gonna work, but then once we kind of put it all together and we saw some of the stuff back, I'm like, yeah, I see where we're going now. I see Max's genius creation is coming to life, and yeah, Max has been an absolute brilliant director. Like, sometimes he thinks he's being a bit too harsh, but he's not. He just knows what he wants.
Oh, and Jack, can you be looking sort of where you expect to see Dex?
Okay, yeah.
So you're expecting him to be like about eye level up here, but then you see him down there, and there's just a brief look of confusion.
You know, when you get to set, you're on a strict time, and I appreciate a director who knows what they want to do on set.
Stalk round, because what needs to happen is actually your right leg needs to pin him down. You need to pin it down with your right foot.
also like swing around like this.
Yeah. Yeah, like that.
But at the end of the day, I'm there to act. I'm there to fulfill the director's vision, essentially. So if you tell me what that is, then, you know, I'm not there to guess, you know what I mean? I'm there to be the character that you want me to be. There's no good of me doing a half-assed job and not getting what you wanted out of it, because then it's just pointless, isn't it?
Yeah, honestly, it's been one of the best things I've ever done so far.
And working with all these amazing people is a creative furnace.
I hope you enjoyed the film. It's a good one.
So hopefully I pulled it off, and hopefully everybody that watches the film absolutely loves it.
It's one of the few times where I can say I have honestly enjoyed every single moment. The moments where I've been at home building things, the long nights, the travelling, the being on location. I loved it.
There's some amazing scenes in there, and some gasps and some surprises, and I think, yeah, just watch it. It's going to be good.
Jester's such a cool idea. I think that's the only way to describe it. It's so cool. Like, all of us were there just sitting around like, yes, that's so cool. Every time Max came up with something, it would be like, that's so cool.
If that doesn't encapsulate what this film is, I don't think anything else will. It's just the fact that you can have a 30-minute conversation about how you want your own arm to look when it's been eaten off of you. In a thumbs up position, no less.
We would all just turn and look at each other occasionally and just kind of have this moment of like, we're making this thing. We're doing this. We're smashing a guitar over someone's head. That's so cool. Yeah, it's just it's something very different. It's epic scale for the production, and it lives up to it. That's what I've found so amazing. Is the whole time it's lived up to its promises.
It does help when the entire crew is just as passionate about a project, just as passionate as a director about a project, which was the case for Jester. The reason why you choose to work with a project should be because the passion is driving you, and yeah, it's how it should be with all productions. So really glad to have been a part of this one, and the hard work has paid off.
Onwards and upwards. Mr. Clips. Mr. Clips will rise again.
It was a very good collaboration and a very good project to work on. The cast and crew have worked extremely hard on this, and it's been one heck of a process, and one that I'm very proud of. So well done to everyone on the Jester crew, and let's go get them.